Okay. All right, everybody. It's our Monday night training per usual, 7:30. Keep it at 30 minutes and move on with our day and our life. So thank you for taking 30 minutes away to be a part of this. So something that we have realized that has been an ongoing, necessary question or challenge or thing that people find one of the hardest is leadership. Raise your hand if you feel like that's a little bit of a challenge sometimes. Even if you don't have a team and that scares you to have a team, that leadership and taking that responsibility on, that can be scary because you're like, oh my gosh, I'm responsible for someone else. What do I do? So first of all, I want to read the definition of leadership to you, okay? Leadership is a process of social influencing which maximizes the efforts of others towards the achievement of a greater good. And it stems from influencing, not authority or power. So think about that. Sometimes you can even see in other situations, people throw their weight around as a way to show that they have leadership over you. And that doesn't inspire. It's the influence that helps people actually want to do what you ask of them or do what you know that they should be doing. And there was also some characteristics that are like the top 10 characteristics of a good leader. And this is what they are: honesty and integrity. They inspire others. Commitment and passion. A good communicator. Decision-making capabilities. Accountability. Delegation and empowerment. Creative and innovative. Do you hear anything saying you have to be the smartest? You have to be the prettiest. You have to be the most well-dressed. You have to be the funniest. You have to be the most well-liked. I didn't hear any of those qualities, but the ones that I did hear are qualities that any and all of us can achieve and have within us. And it just takes a little bit of tweaking to realize what you have inside of you to become not a good leader, not a leader, but a great leader. Okay? None of us start this and are automatically a great leader. None of us just hop in here saying, yeah, I've got it. I know exactly what I'm doing in here. No, we fail and we fail and we fail until all of a sudden we fail forward and it doesn't become as hard anymore and it just becomes second nature. So what does leadership look like in the It Works realm? It's different because you are in charge of yourself. You're not anybody's boss. You cannot tell anybody what to do. So then how is it that you're going to grow if your team doesn't do what they should be doing? That's where this whole give and take thing comes from. And that's why I really like the quality here for inspiring others. And I love delegation and empowerment. Let me explain why those mean so much. So when you inspire others, that means that without a word, without you needing to go tell all these people what they do need to be doing and what they need to be doing more of and what they're doing wrong, by you just doing what you're supposed to do in this business and being a positive light, that's going to inspire others to walk in your footsteps and act like you. So if they're following the right duck, they're going to have the right waddle, right? So make sure that you are doing inspiring things. Whatever you want your team to be doing, make sure that you're doing it because they will follow what you do versus what you say. So make sure that you're being inspiring. Delegation and empowerment. I feel like as a leader, that is so huge because if you are taking everything on your own, one, you're going to get drained. It is so hard to do it all completely on your own. But when you delegate, that's showing someone that you see something in them enough that you're giving them a part of the responsibility, whatever it might be. It might be a 30-minute power Zoom. It might be to do a 3-way call with you and someone else on their team. It might be that they do uh, an Instagram story with you, whatever it is. Like when you delegate or you empower someone by giving them a part of your responsibility, that makes them feel amazing. And shouting them out and telling them what a good job they've done without even a word. Like you just see them doing great things. You don't text them, you don't message them, you don't call them. You just throw something out on social media and like tag them in it. That's gonna be like, oh, what? Me? Oh my gosh, like that's so amazing. Thank you for that. So leadership isn't like this thing that you can like put down into like this exact thing that you do. It's about loving people so much where they are and believing and putting that thought or that inspiration or that they have better in them and helping them reach for the stars by you grabbing one and giving it to them and saying, this is yours. It's yours if you want it. Do you want it? So don't feel like you have to be like this drill sergeant demanding things of everybody, because all you're going to do is push people away. But if you love on them hard enough and you tell them what a good job they're doing, you nitpick on their positive attributes and you just constantly give those to them and help them to realize how that specific quality or that specific asset is going to help them get where they need to be, instead of looking. We do this within ourselves. Like we're like, well, I'm not like Sally Sue because I can't do X, Y, and Z like they do. You as a leader doesn't say, yeah, you're right. Sally Sue does do that, doesn't she? And then like leave it at that. You're like, yeah, she might do that, but this is what you have that maybe Sally Sue doesn't have. So use that to your advantage. So it's finding the good things in your team, loving on them where they are and helping them get to where they need to be. But that's just like the inner quality. So what is it that we also need to be doing to make sure that our teams are doing what they need to be doing? Keeping in contact with them. Do you have a list of the distributors on your team, whether they are working, barely working, or they are like ghosting you? That's what I like to do. I like to have lists of where people are so that I know where I can really shift my focus. And then I know where other people need help with things, because I can see like, okay, well, if they haven't posted in a week or so, like reach out to them, see if they're okay first. Not be like, hey, I see you haven't posted in a week. Where are you? Like, that's not going to make them feel good. Like, hey, is everything okay? I haven't heard much from you recently. And like, I'm just hoping that you're okay. Just get back to me when you get a chance. Like, treat people like people. And I swear in the leadership realm, it goes such a long way. We've also got things that we've made specifically for you. If you're not even sure like what things to talk about when you enroll somebody, we've created a spreadsheet for you that it tells you step by step by step all the things that you need to make sure that they know in the beginning. And we have spots for you to be able to check mark next to them and put their name in there. So it's kind of a no-brainer. Once you know what they need to be doing, then the rest is just you being communicative with them, reaching out to them, making sure that they have the information that they need. I have some pretty phenomenal leaders on my team, and they just go above and beyond when it comes to leadership. So you will have a plethora of knowledge by the end of this. So what I would like to do is I have a few of them ready to go. Jordan, could I start with you first and tell us like, what is your top 3 things that you do with your leadership or that you do to inspire your team?
Well, I would say the number one thing, and you kind of already brought this out, but you have to lead from the front. So we're all on the same level. It doesn't matter what rank you are. Like, we're all business owners of our own business. Like, there's no boss, there's no manager. It's different than probably any job you've ever done, because you're used to like somebody telling you what to do, or you're used to being the one to tell people what to do, whatever you do in your secular life, or being a mom, like that's telling people what to do. But this is different. Like we're all on the same level. So I just do my best to run my business, like how I want it. And like people follow suit. Not everyone, because everybody has different circumstances, but most of my team posts how I post or do the things that I do, because that's how I've trained them. Like it's very much a formula. So that would be the first thing, like leading from the front. The other thing is connecting with people, not just about the business. I kind of had to get used to this. Like when I first started, I'm very business. Like I'm very like, let's get this done. I like to have fun, but I'm also like very, okay, let's do this. And I found like most of the time I was reaching out to people, even though I loved them and I cared about them, I wasn't sharing those things. I was just like, oh, what do you need help with for the business? Like, you can't do that constantly. Like Tara, you never did that with me. Like you connect on a personal level. So if somebody's going through some stuff, and like Tara was saying, if they haven't posted, like you're not gonna reach out and be like, hey, I haven't seen your post. You're gonna inquire what's going on. And if they open up to you, then you kind of like take mental note of that, and like a little bit later reach out, like how's everything going with your family, or like how are you feeling if it's a medical issue, or whatever it might be. Just talk to them on a friend level, on an even plane, and reach out, not just about the business, like because we care about each other and we want to show people that. And then I would say to celebrate like the little things. So I always love like recognition. I think we all kind of love recognition. Like what is that saying? Like you will, everybody loves money, but you'll kill for recognition, or something like that. I forget how the phrase goes, but like pretty much meaning in this business, yes, we're all doing it to make money, but when we receive like a note from somebody, or like somebody recognizing our hard work, or like little things that we do, like that can make somebody's whole day. I know that's made my day when people have done that with me. So just really just loving on your team, and meet them where they're at. Like some people start this business, like you might be at a 9, and some people start this business at a 9 and you're like, all right, let's go. Like you're gearing up. Other people might start at a 1 or 2, and there's nothing wrong with that. It just, you have to meet them where they're at and go from there. So if they're not doing certain things that you think they should be doing, and you're just like feeling frustrated, just approach them in a very loving way and see how you can assist them. And if nothing happens from there, like at least you gave them all the tools and all the love that you possibly could, and you did the best job you could.
Absolutely. And you definitely do a good job with that, with loving your team where they are, whether it's where you would hope they would be or not. And you put your heart and soul into your team. Like you truly, truly, truly love them and want the best for them. So you're a really great example in that. So thank you for sharing that. I saw that Jenny is on. So Jenny, can I do you next? And then I'm going to save Saray for last, because there's something additional that she's going to be sharing with us. So Jenny, all I want you to do is share like your top 3 things that you do to ensure like your leadership, and what you do like maybe on a daily basis, or how that you inspire your team to more.
So I always like to go to eSuite and look at the downline orders to make sure, because in the beginning of the month I'm project the volume, and I give my team their projection volumes needed to maintain the rank, or to keep promoting, and how many orders they need. And every single day I'm always on top of that, and I'm letting them know like, hey, did you know so and so's order didn't go through? But I'm also just communicating with them and understanding that they are people as well. And so we all have a busy life, and to also just be caring and being a friend as well. but sorry, I was not prepared for this.
I know. I tried asking you. You didn't hear my message earlier, and I'm like, hey, hop on the Zoom. Leadership 101.
Oh my goodness.
I like that you're sharing that about, like, it's a different way of what Jordan was saying, because you're sharing like a technicality thing that you do, like be in eSuite, look at your downline activity. Can you explain to them why the downline activity is so important once they start establishing a team?
So you have to know where you're going, like at all times. This is your business. I mean, this is my full-time job, and so I'm like on it. Like, I know when there's a credit card decline, I'm gonna go reach out to whoever it is. But just establishing, like, them knowing where their boat is going, because if they don't know how to protect their own volume, you're not building a leader on your team. That's why you have to tell them, like, you know, these are your people. You take care of them. They're your responsibility. Any people that are placed under you, like, reach out to them because they are your people. So I make sure, you know, they know that's what their job is. But I also have been, my team's been really good with post to post. So also making sure doing post to post every single day, getting in on that giveaway has been really helpful, because there's just so many potentials that you can get, especially with Instagram being like really picky now and blocking people. Like, post to post is the way to go with reaching out to more people than you normally can message in a day. So
Absolutely. So thank you for sharing that. Those were great tips, and they were different than what Jordan shared. So that's what I wanted. I wanted variety. Okay, so the next person that we are going to go to is Saray. So Saray, share your top 3 things that you do as a leader. Like, you are just the bomb.com when it comes to leadership, and what you do to try and inspire.
So some of the stuff that I do, something that I steered away from a little bit are, like, I do have a group chat for everyone on my team, but I started doing a lot more layered leadership, which means that it's the top enroller or on their downline, and then that single distributor. And I felt like that helped us out a lot, because it allowed for not only that, for example, like if it was me and Misha and someone on her downline, or me and Maritz and someone on her downline, or it allowed them to be able to open up to us individually and tell us what's going on, because they might not be as open with everyone in the chat because they don't know who everyone is. So that allowed us to really narrow down who needed help with what, instead of them just telling us in the chat, okay, like, I need help with posting or whatever it may be, or like a live post and messaging. So that, I feel like, changed the game for us a lot, because we also got to know every single distributor more as a person. And we also started seeing where our leaders were kind of failing, not necessarily failing, but where they could improve as leaders themselves, because we started seeing the inconsistencies with certain trainings. And we want everyone to be successful. So everyone on the team as a whole is always very positive with what they can work on as an individual and be a better leader. So when we did the layered leadership, it really helped us out to be able to pinpoint on what everyone can improve. And it also helped me to be able to get feedback, because I felt like when I would ask questions in the chat, like, not everyone would answer. And it was just like, I would be left on scene, but it didn't mean that the person wasn't working. So that just really helped me to be able to kind of pinpoint what I could help them with. Another thing that I do a lot is that I send a lot of videos. So I do a lot of YouTube. I search other top leaders. I'm constantly changing my methods of training. So something that might have worked for me last month might be completely different this month, because I also take into account what everyone's going through. So for some reason, my team this month, we're going through a lot of different hardships with, like, families and just the, like, general life. So I've been working on sending them quotes, telling them that they're not alone, like, they're not going through this alone, like, everyone goes through stuff. If distributors quit, like, I remind them that they're not alone, like, this happens, like, we have to constantly be recruiting, and just, like, reminding everyone that everybody goes through the same stuff. It's just a matter of what they're going to be doing with those hardships, if they're going to stop or if they're going to push themselves through it. So layered leadership, quotes, videos. Videos are my go-to. Like and recently I've also been doing a lot of my own videos so that they see my face telling them what needs to be done versus me sending a video from someone they don't know who it is. And I also implemented a lot of new paperwork that I've been doing for the team. So which one of them is a self-evaluation form that I actually sent it to only the people who sent me their email. So I did post this in our chat and I said, everyone send me your email because I'm going to send you something, but they didn't know what it was. And then I sent them the self-evaluation to every single email and they had to send it back to me. And the self-evaluation really opened up like their mind and also like what they were doing that they could improve in. Because a lot of our mentality is like, okay, I'm doing everything that needs to be done, but are you doing it at your best? Which is like the key, because you could be doing it every single day. But what exactly is holding you back from actually getting the results that you want? So with the self-evaluation, like I felt like it really made them think about it. So that helped me to be able to kind of like, now I have a game plan. Like I'm setting up one-on-ones with some of the distributors, and just figuring out how we can make solutions. And that's my part now as a leader, to be able to keep pouring into them. And something I also do is I listen a lot to my leaders and what they learn. So like if someone is telling me that they saw this really good video that was talking about how someone went double diamond without even realizing because they poured into their team, then I'm going to try to implement things like that too, because that's working for someone else and it might work for me. And it's just kind of like trial and error because not everything's going to work every single month. So that's why I'm always changing everything. And I'm trying to think of something new, something better, something that's going to help everyone. And I can share, let me see how I share my screen so that everyone can see this. How do I share my screen? Okay, I think I'm going to share with you guys the sheet that I created for the self-evaluation so that you guys have an idea of what it is. So this is a sheet that I personally created. And it's basically, it's a 2-page self-evaluation. The first step is just telling me what their why is. So it has to be something that's going to motivate them, because I want them to be able to keep this in their record so that they're constantly looking at what their why is and what is motivating them to be able to move into like when times get tough, are you going to keep pushing because of this why? Then I put like, what are your goals for the rest of the month of June? What do you think you can work on? What is something that is holding you back from consistently doing what needs to be done with the business? What goal do you want to set for yourself for August 2019? And then this was my favorite part. I put every single section as far as what is needed for the business. I told them to circle what number they thought they were at for each subject. And then I told them to tell me what scared them the most. And that last one, I have to give a shout out to Misha, because she's the one that thought of that one. Because if we pinpointed what exactly they were scared of, then that allowed us to be able to address that issue specifically. So it allowed us to be able to just be able to work on that all together. So this information I'm going to relay down to my leaders so that they are also aware. I'm not giving them every single information, because this was supposed to be kind of confidential too, because some people did open up. I'm just telling them what they need to know. And I feel like that has also allowed for me to be able to create friendships with some of the distributors, to do it more than just business.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for that. And we're going to have a copy of that Sarai made so that we can all do self-evaluations and figure out what it is that could possibly be holding us back. And then what that does is it helps us as leaders know exactly what you need on a one-on-one level. So just as Sarai was saying, like if you're going to be really, truly honest with yourself and you're honest with us, then we know how to address it better so that we're a better leader specifically to you. So honesty with yourself really helps us to be able to be better with that. So thank you so much, Sarai, for sharing that. For those of you who are new and you don't have teams, if you want to know how you are going to be the best leader you can possibly be, one, you have to be the best distributor you can be, because that is what is going to motivate you to keep going, because then you're going to see the results. You're going to start reaping the rewards, and then that's going to keep you excited. So as you start to grow your team, one, you already know what you need to do to see results because you've done it within yourself. And two, make sure that you are constantly learning, pouring into yourself, being as squeaky as possible. And I loved this from what Chris, Team Crow, said. He said, don't just ask questions, continue to ask questions until you understand. I believe it's something like that. I'm sure he's going to requote my quote. But you can't just ask a question and then like leave it. Keep asking different questions until you get it. That is how you're going to learn. Jordan quoted.
Yeah, no, he just said, ask until you understand.
Okay.
So, and if you have a good leader above you, and there's so many good leaders on this team, guys, so I'm sure you have an awesome person above you. They're not going to like make you feel bad for asking again. You know, I mean, that's normal. This is something we've never done before. So of course you're going to have questions, and a good leader is going to be patient with you, just like you're going to be patient with the distributors you sign up. So, like as a leader, I really try not to like show how much I know, but make somebody like pay attention to how I make somebody feel. So if somebody doesn't know something, I'm not going to be like, well, I told you that last week. You know, I'm going to be like, well, let's look at this together. Like, I found this video, like maybe we can do a work Zoom together or something. Like you come alongside people. But yeah, Chris said, ask until you understand, because if we think you understand something, we're going to move on to the next thing, you know, and we don't want to do that. Like if there's something that isn't 100% clear, like just ask, be like, hey, I do that to you all the time, Sarah. I'm like, I'm being an idiot. What does this mean? I think Saray and you both showed me for like 30 minutes each how to put up an IGTV. And it was like a simple thing that I did not get, like just Jordan brain. But I asked until I understood, because it was important to my business. So I remember when I started, I was intimidated by being a leader. I was excited, but I was intimidated. And like you broke it down very simply, like being a leader is sharing what you know. And that's it. Like, so you don't have to like be a red personality or like know everything or, you know, make 1 million volume or whatever, you know, just share what you know. That'll make you a good leader.
Exactly. Thank you for sharing that. And like meeting your distributors for where you are, knowing where their strengths and weaknesses are is huge. Just like Jordan said, like she is the bomb.com when it comes to hustle, the work, and like doing all the things. But one of her struggles is technology. I know that. So what do? I'll either say, hey, let's FaceTime and I'll walk you through it step by step. Or let me come over and I'll show you how to do it because we live close enough. How would I know that she needed that help unless she kept telling me, I'm struggling at this, I need help with this. Now I know it. So if there's a new thing that's coming out, I'll just say, hey, do you need help with that? Because that's what you do as a leader. You know where your team needs help on certain things, and you reach out and be above and beyond to make sure that they get it. That's it. Meet your team where they are and help them with where they need to be. Don't overcomplicate it. This business is very simple. The more you know, the better you'll do, the more you'll be able to teach. So be a sponge, absorb as much as you possibly can, continue being on trainings like this, ask loads of questions. The squeaky wheel always gets the oil, and we want you to be as well prepared as possible, because we know that that's going to benefit you in the future and the longevity of this business. We want each and every one of you to be successful, because that means that you're helping your family. That means you're helping your goal. That means you're reaching your why. And we won't be here as leaders unless you're successful too. So we want the absolute best for you and you and your leadership. And always, always, always ask questions. They're never stupid. it means you need help in a certain subject. So be a good leader by asking questions, because the more you know, the more you'll be able to pass on. So I hope that this was informative. And we will get Saray to, once I get this uploaded to YouTube and put up on the team page, I will have her put up that self-evaluation, and you can send that to your leader, your upline, to me personally, because I would like to know on a closer one-on-one basis what it is that you need help with. And let's help each other. And you don't have to post it in the team page, because I'm sure some of your stuff is private, but if you want to, that's great too. But we're gonna hop off of here, and I appreciate everyone for being on and seeing all the new faces. This is super exciting. But we will talk soon, guys. Have a great evening. See ya.